Hello, mighty companions. This is Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome you to Hardcore Course in Miracles. And we are going to go deep into A Course in Miracles. This is especially for Course in Miracles students. Anybody can watch, but it's especially for Course in Miracles students who really want to learn and take advantage of my 40 years of teaching and studying the Course in Miracles almost. The Course in Miracles will change your life, will change your perception, will get you in touch with how you allow a higher power to work in your life. And we're going to talk about what are the characteristics of God's teachers. You and me were not that far apart, where we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. It's so good to be with you. I'm Earl Purdy. It's time to get down in A Course in Miracles. We're going to talk about, now let's come together and understand that Christ was born inside of every man. He's waiting for us to choose him as ourselves. We got to choose love as ourselves. Love as ourselves. When you choose him, you know you choose me too. Everyone becomes a part of you, and then you will know that love is who I am. Yes. You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. You and I are one. We are one. Yeah, we are one. Welcome to A Course in Miracles, Hardcore. We are one. And this is Earl Purdy. Welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles. I'm Earl Purdy, and I'm here for us to go deep as we can within the Course in Miracles so that we can have the miracles. We're here on Facebook Live. We're going to be on page 9 in the Manual for Teachers. What are the characteristics of God's teachers? What are the characteristics of the demonstrators of love? What are the characteristics of the teacher of God? The teacher of love. What are your characteristics? What's the way you're going to be when you're truly a teacher of God? How will you be expressing yourself? Let's listen to John Christmas. You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are. You and I are one. Oh, we are one. We are totally one. We are one. We are one. Yeah, we are one. We are one. You and I are one. We are one. You and I are one. We are one. I am you. And you are me. Wow. That's Brother John Christmas at johnChristmas.com. If you're interested in hearing more of his music. Yes, so we're going to get started. I'm Earl Purdy. I want to welcome you to Hardcore Course in Miracles. We're going to be in the Teacher's Manual. We're going to be on page 9. We're going to be in the section that's called, What are the Characteristics of God's Teachers? And that's section 4. Now, I really want to give you tips on how to study the Course in Miracles, how to read the Course in Miracles. I've been a teacher of the Course in Miracles for almost 40 years, and my job is to help with your remembering of the Course. I call myself the Divine Repetition Teacher, the Divine Remembering Teacher. The Course in Miracles tells us, those of us who have studied it, you know that the Course in Miracles says analyzing the Course in Miracles is not how you master the correct perception that the Course in Miracles is promising. It says the key to success with the Course in Miracles is in remembering what it's saying and applying it to yourself. Remembering what it's saying and applying it to yourself. The Course in Miracles says that your understanding is not a powerful contribution to the truth, and that your understanding does not make the truth work or makes the truth what it is. So one of the fastest ways to do the Course is to let go of the desire to think. You got to analyze it and try to fit it into your belief system, and let yourself just hear what it's saying. What is it? What is the message that it's giving? The Course in Miracles also says that the only guidelines for the Course in Miracles is that you need not believe the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not even welcome the ideas in the Course in Miracles. Some of the ideas in the Course in Miracles, you may actively resist some of the ideas in the Course in Miracles. Some of the ideas in the Course in Miracles, it says it's going to be hard to believe, and it's going to be quite startling. Do you know that the Course in Miracles also says that you are not asked to judge and analyze the ideas at all? So what do you do? What do you do? You use the ideas. The Course in Miracles says it's the use of the ideas that will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. It's the use of the ideas. It is the use of the ideas, not the analyzation of the ideas, not trying to fit the ideas into your old way of thinking from the world. It says it is your using the ideas. And so please share this video. Thursday is hardcore. So I stick to the book and I work out of the book, and then I'm going to show you how to make the Course in Miracles less of a daunting read, okay? It uses Christian terminology to describe universal spiritual themes. And I'm going to do what I call the plain language version of the Course in Miracles. I will use some of the substitutions. I will substitute some of the words as I'm reading it, using the definition of those words that the Course in Miracles uses. It's only talking about love. It's only talking about coming from the love part of you or what's not the love part of you, and how to really come from that true part of you. So the section that I'm going to go through, and I want to welcome all my mighty companions. It's great to see you online. I'm glad that you come here live, even though you can watch it later, because then you feel the energy of your other mighty companions. And this makes this a family affair. This makes us part of one family of God coming together. So this is more than a class, and it's more than just a video that you're tuning into. This is an opportunity for you to tune in with other people of a like mind. So here we go. What are the characteristics of God's teachers? First paragraph. The surface traits of God's teachers are not at all alike. The surface traits of God's teachers are not at all alike. God's teachers do not look alike to the body's eyes. God's teachers come from vastly different backgrounds. God's teachers come from vastly different backgrounds. Their experiences of the world vary greatly. Their experiences of the world vary greatly. And the teachers of God's superficial personalities are quite distinct. Nor at the beginning stages of their functioning as teachers of God have the teachers of God as yet acquired the deeper characteristics that will establish teachers of God as what they are. God gives special gifts to his teachers. God gives special gifts to his teachers. God gives special gifts to his teachers, because God's teachers have a special role in God's plan for atonement. God gives special gifts to God's teachers because God's teachers have a special role in God's plan of atonement. Their specialness, God's teachers' specialness, is of course only temporary, set in time as a means of leading out of time. These special gifts born in the holy relationship toward which the teaching-learning situation is geared, these special gifts become characteristic of all teachers of God who have advanced in their own learning. And in this respect, all teachers of God are all alike. All differences among the children of God are temporary. All differences among the sons of God are temporary. Nevertheless, in time, it can be said that the advanced teachers of God have the following characteristics. So let's go back. I want to go back over those two paragraphs. Okay, the first thing it says, if you remember, it says the surface traits of God's teachers are not at all alike. So what does that mean? It means that God's teachers do not look alike. God's teachers, the teachers of love and the teachers of truth, we don't look alike. And that's true. None of us look alike. And it says that if you're going to be a demonstrator of God, a true teacher of God, he says a true teacher of God, they are people who do not look alike, people who come from vastly different backgrounds, people who have a lot of different experiences of the world, people who have superficial personalities that are quite different. Doesn't it sound like the Course in Miracles is talking about us and everybody that we see? And then he says, at the beginning stages of their functions functioning as teachers of God, have they as yet acquired the deeper characteristics that will establish them as teachers of God. So if you're at the beginning stage of being a teacher of love, if you're at the beginning stage of being a teacher of truth, you don't have any of the characteristics that an advanced teacher of God would have. So you can be a teacher of God and be at the beginner level. If I'm learning how to play an instrument, the first day I go to class, I'm not an expert at playing that instrument, but I am going to be a saxophone player. So therefore, even at the beginning, even when I don't have the characteristics of the best saxophone player, that still is what I'm going to be. So you may not have any of the characteristics of a demonstrator of love at first. Then what else did the Course in Miracles says? It says our Creator gives special gifts to us, that you have a special gift. And the Course in Miracles told us last week that a teacher of God is anybody who decides to be one, and anybody who doesn't see their interests as apart from anybody else's interests, someone who really wants to be a demonstrator of peace and love. Then the Course says God gives special gifts to his teachers because his teachers have a special role in his plan of the undoing of fear, which is the atonement. So what did it just say to us? We look different. At the very beginning, you probably don't have none of the characteristics of advanced teacher of love, and that your Creator is going to give you special gifts. And these special gifts that can make you special, the Course says these special gifts are only temporary. And these are special gifts that you're going to have in time as a means of leading out of time. Because the goal of the Course in Miracles is to take us from time where things begin and end into eternity, which is where love never ends. So we're trying to go from a place where we can lose and things end to a place where things never end and we never lose. But you're going to be given special gifts. And in paragraph 1, it says, these special gifts born in the holy relationship toward which the learning situation is geared. So our goal for coming together is to have a holy relationship. We were told last week that a holy relationship is just a relationship where two people have the goal of seeing each other as sinless and innocent. And not only see each other as sinless and innocent, there are two people, for instance, who see themselves as having the same interests. And that same interest would be their desire to see each other as innocent, to see each other as both wanting and deserving love and both wanting and deserving peace. So it says these special gifts born in the holy relationship toward which the teaching learning situation is geared, these special gifts become characteristic of all teachers of love who have advanced in their own learning. In this respect, they are all alike. So the Course in Miracles is telling us that I'm going to tell you what these special characteristics are. I'm going to tell you what these special gifts or characteristics that you are going to acquire as you continue to learn to be a teacher of God. And that's what we're about to hear. We're about to hear what are the characteristics of a teacher of God, which is a teacher of love, which is a teacher of truth, which is a teacher of freedom. Don't make the Course in Miracles complicated. What could be simpler than saying we don't look alike, we come from different backgrounds. In the beginning, we're not as loving as we're going to be as teachers, that we have special gifts that we're going to be given, and these special gifts are being given to us so that we can move out of time, so that we can move out of being in a world of perception where things begin and end, and where there is joy and pain, to a place where there is only joy and no pain. And you don't have to die to go there. You just have to be willing to change your mind. So, all differences between us, the Course in Miracles says, do you know that all differences between us are temporary? So even though it looks like we're different, it's only going to be temporary. But in time, it can be said that once you advance as a teacher of love, as you advance as a teacher of God, you're going to have the following characteristics. So when the Course in Miracles talks about us being given special gifts, it's talking about the characteristics that you are about to hear. So the first characteristic of a teacher of love, the first characteristic of a teacher of God is trust. Trust is the first characteristic of a teacher of God. Trust is the first characteristic that you're going to develop. So it says, trust is the foundation on which your ability to fulfill your function rests. I'm going to read it to you in a way that sounds personal to you. So the first thing that you're going to develop is trust. That's going to be your foundation. Perception is the result of learning. So what you see, everything you're looking at, is what you learned to see. If you look at me and you say, I'm a man, you have learned to see me as a man. If you had been brought up to believe I was a black rabbit, then you would be saying, damn, that black rabbit right there is really teaching the Course really good, because you learned to see me as a rabbit. So the Course is saying to us, how you see things is the result of how you learn to see things. Perception is what? Perception is learning. Perception is learning. In fact, perception is the result of learning. So how you see things is the result of how you learned. In fact, perception is learning. And cause and effect are never separated. So the way you see things is the way you learn to see things. The way you learn to see things is the way that you see things. The teachers of God have trust in the world because the teachers of God have learned that the world is not governed by the laws that the world made up. So there are laws that the world did not make up that you're going to learn. And when you learn the rules that's not made up by the world, then the Course in Miracles says, then you will have trust in the world, because you will be focusing in on the laws that the world didn't make up. And these are the laws that are eternal. These are the laws that you can always count on. These are the laws that operate whether you are male, female, black, white, young, old, doesn't make any difference about your race, your gender, your social, economic condition. The true laws, the laws of God, operate totally independent of the rules of the ego and the rules of the world. So what does that mean? It means that the world is governed. It means that the teachers of God have trust in the world because the teachers of God have learned that it's not governed by the laws the world made up. The world is governed by a power that is in the teacher of God, but not of the teacher of God. So there is a power that is in you that is not of you. There's a power that is in you that you're going to learn to call on, but you did not create that power. You did not originate that power. Love did. God did. It is this power that keeps all things safe. So what is the power that keeps all things safe? It's a power that is of you, from God, that did not come from you. It is through this power that the teachers of God look on a forgiven world. So what does that say? Well, basically that's telling us that God is the healer, that it's the laws of God and the laws of truth that's really going to govern our lives. And we didn't make up the laws of God. We didn't make up the laws of truth. And through using the laws of love, the laws of God, the laws of truth, it says we can look on a forgiven world. And the Course in Miracles defines forgiveness as correct perception. So we can look on a forgiven world. We can look at the world correctly. So what would that be? I'm looking at the world as if it is a call for God. I'm looking at the world as if it's a call for help. I'm looking at everything that's happening in my life as either being love or a call for love. I'm looking at everything that's happening in the world as being the truth or a call for the truth. I'm going to bring the whole Course in Miracles into what we're covering. So when it says you are looking on a forgiven world, it just means you're looking on a world that you know is either love or a call for love. That everything that's going on in the world right now is either love or a call for love. There's a lot of calls for love going on right now. And as a teacher of God, through the power of love, you're going to look on a forgiven world. You're going to look on a world that you're looking at with compassion, that you're looking at with love, because you know it's a call for love. And you know that your job as a demonstrator of love, your job as a teacher of God is to be a channel for that love. That is beautiful. That is the truth. So let's keep going. It says in section 4, first paragraph, section 4, in the manual, it says, when this power has once been experienced, it's impossible to trust one's own mighty, petty strength again. So do you know that once you have experienced the power of God, you'll never trust your strength again? That when you really tap into the power of true love, you will never trust your ego again. You'll never trust your own little petty strength again. The once you experience the power of God, do you know that once you experience the power of God, it will be impossible for you to trust your own petty strength again? Who would attempt to fly with the tiny wings of a sparrow when the mighty power of an eagle has been given him? Why would you attempt to fly with the tiny wings of a sparrow when now you have the power of an eagle that has been given you? And who would place their faith in the shabby offerings of ego, the shabby offerings of fear, when the gifts of God are laid before him? Why would you place your faith in your ego, the part of you that's afraid and separate, when you've had the gifts of God laid before you? Those are the two questions that the Course in Miracles is saying to us. Would you keep on trying to use the tainted wings of a sparrow the once you have the power of an eagle? Would you keep believing in the shabby offerings of your fearful mind, the ego, when you could have the gifts of love laid before you? So what is it that's going to induce you to make the shift to the eagle as opposed to the sparrow? What's going to make you make the shift from trusting in your own little petty strength instead of trusting in the strength of God? What is it that's going to induce you to do that? I hope you're following along in the book, because I want you to see how the Course in Miracles is a conversation. Look at it as if you're having a conversation with Jesus of the Course. When you look at it like it's a conversation, it's a lot easier for you to hear what it's saying. Development of trust, development of trust, development of trust. How do you develop trust? First, you're going to go through what might be called the period of undoing. Number one, as you develop trust, do you know that you're going to go through a period of undoing? Now, this period of undoing doesn't have to be painful. It need not be painful for you to go through this period of undoing. But it usually is so experienced that way. So you don't have to go through pain in the undoing, but you're probably going to go through pain, is what the Course just told us. If you're going to develop trust, you have to go through a period of undoing. It doesn't have to be painful, but you'll probably experience it as painful. So why does the period of undoing seem painful? It says because it seems as if things are being taken away, and it's rarely understood initially that their lack of value is merely being recognized. So it's painful because it's going to look like there's some things being taken away, but the things are not being taken away. It's just that you're no longer valuing what you used to value, and so it leaves. Because how can lack of value be perceived unless you are in a position that you must see things in a different light? So how are you going to change your mind unless you see things in a new way? You are not yet at a point in which you can make the shift entirely, internally. You are not at the point right now that you can completely shift from fear to love internally. You're not at the point right now that you can shift completely from fear to unconditional love. And so the plan will sometimes call for changes in what seem to be outside external circumstances. If you don't change on the inside, then something's going to happen on the outside to make you change. If you don't change on the inside, then you may have to have changes in what you call your external circumstances. If you're not ready to make the shift from fear to love on the inside, if you're not ready to change your mind and go from guilt to innocence on the inside, do you know that the Course just said the plan of God might call for you to go through some changes in your external situation? So do you know that if you're going through a bunch of changes in your external situation right now, it probably means that you are being triggered to make an internal shift. So if you don't change on the inside, something's going to happen on the outside that's going to make you change. If you don't change on the inside, then the plan may call for you to go through external changes that get you to change. These changes are always helpful. So do you know that that means that any change that you're going through right now, any external change that you're going through right now, I don't care what that external change is, whatever external change you're going on, any kind of external change that you're having right now is helpful. Changes are always helpful. I want you to hear that. Changes are always helpful. 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 So when the teacher of God has learned that much, that changes are always helpful, when you've learned that changes are always helpful, when you've learned that changes are always helpful, you'll go to the second stage. How do you go to the second stage? You tell yourself, every change in my life is helping me. 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 Every change in your life is helping you. Tell yourself, Every change in my life is helping me. And when you really have learned that, when you really believe that every change that you're going through is helping you, the Course in Miracles says that's when you go to the next stage in developing trust. So the first thing you got to do, if you want to reduce everything I just said to one sentence, it would be for you to tell yourself, changes are always helping me. All changes are helpful. Changes are helpful. Changes are helpful. Don't try to remember a whole lot. Just try to remember this one thing. All change is helpful. The Course in Miracles says when the teacher of God has learned that much, the teacher of God goes to the second stage. Remember what? All changes are helpful. Yes, like Kim says, yes, I'm being knocked around on the outside so that I can make the change on the inside. That is right. Joanne is saying, every change in my life is helping me. That's the truth. Don't try to make the Course in Miracles complicated, mighty companions. Don't try to make the Course in Miracles. I've been doing this for almost 40 years. I'm telling you, don't let your ego make you think the Course in Miracles is this really complicated teaching. It's not hard. It's just different. It's just telling you things in a way that you probably haven't heard them before. So in paragraph 4, it says, next, the teacher of God must go through a period of sorting out. So you're going to go through a period of sorting out after you really get that all changes are helpful. First you get that all changes are helpful, then you go to the next stage. And the next stage is what the Course calls a period of sorting out. It says, this is always somewhat difficult because having learned that the changes in your life are always helpful, you must now decide all things on the basis of whether all things increase the helpfulness or hamper it. In other words, you're going to find that many, if not most of the things you valued before will merely hinder your ability to transfer what you've learned to new situations as they arise. You're going to find that it's hard at first for you to apply the truth to every single situation that comes up. And you know that's true. You know that you forgive some things easier than you forgive other things. You know that you give yourself more peace about some things than you give yourself peace about other things. That you are not at the point yet that you apply the truth to every single thing that happens in your life. So you're going to find that most of the things that you have learned to value might keep you from transferring what you've learned to new situations as new situations arise. Why? The Course says because you have valued what is really valueless. And so you won't generalize the lesson for fear of loss and sacrifice. So what does that mean? It means that I'll think that the truth is asking me to sacrifice some things based on my old programming and my old learning. And so I won't apply what the Course is saying to everything that happens to me because I believe that I'll lose or sacrifice. If I say I'm responsible for every single thing that I experience, then I think that somehow or another, if I don't say that I'm a victim in some circumstances, that somehow or another I'm going to lose. I believe that at some level, I can't apply the truth to everything, because if I apply the truth to everything, I might lose. If the truth says that the way that I have is that I give, then I think that if I give away something, then I've lost it. So the idea of giving, I'll give some things, but I won't give other things because I think I'm going to lose if I use the law of love, which is the law of giving. So what does the Course say? How should you handle that? It takes great learning to understand that all things, all events, all encounters, and all circumstances are helpful. Do you know that it takes great learning to learn that everything is helping you? Everything is helping you. Everybody is helping you. Every circumstance is helping you. Everything is helping you. Every event is helping you. Every encounter is helping you. Every circumstance is helping you. Everything in your life right now is helping you. Every event in your life right now is helping you. Every encounter in your life right now is helping you. Every circumstance in your life is helping you. It takes great learning before you get to the point that you will believe that about everything that's happening. If your mate walked out and left you, that's helpful. It takes great learning, though, to call that helpful. It admits it. You don't see everything and every event and every encounter and every circumstance as helpful. Because what did it say? It takes great learning to understand that all things, events, encounters, and circumstances are helpful. But it's only to the extent to which all things, events, encounters, and circumstances are helpful that any degree of reality should be accorded them in this world of illusion. So nothing is any more real than it helps you. Anything that's real is something that helps you. So the Course in Miracles says it's only to the extent that the circumstance, event, or thing or encounter is helpful that you should give it any reality. You are no more real to me than you're helpful to me. I am no more real to you than I am helpful to you. If I'm not helpful to you, I am not real. I am not valuable. If you're not helpful to me and helpful to others, you have no value at this level of what the Course is talking about. What did it say? It is only to the extent to which the things, events, encounters, and circumstances are helpful that any degree of reality should be accorded them in this world of illusion. The word value can apply to nothing else. So what is the Course in Miracles' definition of value? It's anything that's helpful. Nothing is any more valuable than it's helpful. You're only as valuable as you are helpful. All things, all events, all circumstances, all encounters are helpful. Everything is helping you. Everything is helping you. Every event is helping you. Everything is helping you. Every encounter is helping you. Every circumstance is helping you. Every person is helping you. Everything is helping you. It takes great learning for me to recognize that everything is helping me. Everything is helping me. Everything is helping me. Even if I don't think that everything is helping me, even if I don't feel like everything is helping me, everything in my life right now is helping me. All things in my life are helping me. All people in my life are helping me. All events in my life are helping me. All encounters in my life are helping me. Every circumstance in my life is helping me. That is what valuable means. It means that it is helpful. And if it's not helpful, it's not valuable. And I'm saying this over and over and over and over and over again because I've learned in 40 years that it is much more important for you to remember what the Course in Miracles is saying than for you to come up with your yes, but, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but. It's already said that it's going to take great learning for us to get to the point that we think everything that's happening to us is helpful. So it doesn't help to spend a lot of time listening to all the reasons why we think that's not true. That's not important. What's important is to recognize that all changes are helpful and nothing is any valuable in your life than its ability to help you. Woo! So what is the third stage? It says the third stage through which the teacher of God must go can be called a period of relinquishment. So what are you getting ready to go through next? You're going to go through a period of relinquishment. If this period of relinquishment is interpreted as giving up the desirable, the period of relinquishment will engender enormous conflict. If you think the Course in Miracles is asking you to give up something that you desire, then the period of relinquishment and letting go, you're going to go through a lot of conflict. If you think you're being asked to give up something that you desire, then the idea of relinquishment is going to cause you a lot of conflict. And do you know that the Course in Miracles says few teachers of God escape this distress entirely? It's very rare that teachers of God don't go through enormous conflict because the teacher of God thinks that they're being asked to give up something that's very desirable to them. So one of the mistakes that beginning teachers make is they think that the Course in Miracles or God or the truth is asking them to sacrifice things that they think is very important to them. So the Course in Miracles says straight up, say, few teachers of love escape this distress completely. There is, however, no point in sorting out the valuable from the valueless unless the next obvious step is taken. What is the next obvious step? Letting go of what's valueless. If I'm sorting out what's valuable from what's not, then I need to let go of what's not valuable. There's no point in me sorting out peas from peanuts when I want peas unless I let the peanuts go. So there's no point in sorting out what's valuable and what's not valuable unless you take the next step, which is to let go of what's not valuable. So there's a period of overlap that the Course says. The period of overlap is apt to be a period in which the teacher of God feels called upon to sacrifice his own best interests on behalf of the truth. So every now and then, you're going to believe that practicing the truth is not serving you. Some of the times you're going to believe that trying to be loving and forgiving all the time is not serving you. You might think it means you're going to be taken advantage of. It might mean you think that you're letting somebody off the hook. But you are going to have times when you're studying the truth that you think you're being asked to sacrifice your own best interests on behalf of the truth. It says it right there. So when you feel that way, that you're somehow being asked to sacrifice what you desire, your own best interests, when you're doing the Course, just remember that the Course itself says sometimes you're going to feel like you're losing. Some of the time you're going to feel like you're sacrificing your own best interests when you practice the truth. So why is it that you would feel like you're somehow going to lose if you practice the truth? It says, he has not realized as yet, the teacher of God has not realized as yet how wholly impossible such a demand would be. It's impossible. Listen to me now. It's impossible that God would demand that you give up what's truly valuable. It would be impossible that God would ask you to sacrifice your own best interests on behalf of the truth. It's impossible that love would cause you to lose. It's impossible that you can lose by loving. It's impossible to lose through giving real love. I'm not talking about the kind of stuff that fearful minds give that's based on specialness and scripts. That's not real love. It's impossible to lose if you are practicing the truth. So the Course in Miracles says, the teacher of God has not yet realized as yet how wholly impossible such a demand would be. What demand? That you sacrifice your own best interests on behalf of truth. Whenever you're reading A Course in Miracles, the answers to your questions are right there in front of your face. You don't have to stop reading and then try to figure it out. The answer is right in front of your face. For instance, he says, sometimes the teacher of God feels called upon to sacrifice his own best interests on behalf of truth. The teacher of God hasn't realized as yet how wholly impossible such a demand would be. What demand? That you sacrifice your own best interests on behalf of truth. The teacher of God can learn this, what? That it's impossible that you sacrifice your own best interests on behalf of truth only as you actually do give up the valueless. When you give up fear, anger, guilt, grievances, and separation, and specialness as the world does it, then you're going to see that nothing is being demanded of you, nothing is being taken away from you. If I love you, if I truly love you, I would never try to take away your happiness. I would never try to take away your freedom. I would never try to make you feel guilty. I would never try to manipulate and control you. If I'm practicing the truth, you hit the jackpot if you're in a relationship with me, because you're in a relationship with someone that's not condemning you, not trying to control you, not trying to do anything to you that you don't want done to you. Listen to me now. You can never practice the truth. You can never live the truth. You can never follow the laws of God and lose. You can never follow the truth and lose. And the only thing that the Course is asking you to sacrifice, if you want to think in terms of sacrifice, the only thing the Course in Miracles is asking you to sacrifice, if there is a such thing as sacrifice, which is not, he says it's fear. I'm asking you to let go, lose your fear, lose your guilt, lose your anger, lose your belief in lack, lose your belief in sickness, lose your belief in separation, lose your belief that you're just a limited body that dies one day. These are the things that the Course in Miracles is asking you to give up, because those things are not valuable. The Course in Miracles is only talking about your perception and your thinking. The Course in Miracles is working on your perception and your thinking. If your perception and your thinking is healed and correct, then everything in your world is going to work out. Everything is coming from mind. Everything is coming from thought. Everything is coming from thought. So the Course in Miracles works at the causative level. It works at the level of your thinking. What you are experiencing in the body, what you are experiencing in the world is the effect level, the result level. And the Course in Miracles is not interested in the result or the effect level. It's interested in the causative level. So when you actually do give up the valueless, it says, through this, he learns that where he anticipated grief, he finds a happy lightheartedness instead. Where he thought something was asked of him, the teacher of God finds a gift bestowed on him. So what does that mean? When you do learn to sort out what's valuable from what's not valuable, and you let go of what's not valuable, you're going to find that you're going to experience a happy lightheartedness, and you're going to find that a gift is bestowed on you. So when you let go of anger, guilt, grievances, separation in the past, you're going to find yourself becoming more happy, more lighthearted, and there's going to be a gift, a miracle, a gift bestowed on you. If you let go of what's valueless, and from a Course in Miracles perspective, it's not talking about material things. It's talking about letting go of your belief that you're separate, letting go of your grievances, letting go of your anger, letting go of your need to control others, letting go of your desire to attack, are just a few of the things that the Course in Miracles defines as valueless. Now, in paragraph 6, it says, now comes a period of settling down. So what is the period of settling down? The period of settling down is a quiet time. What is the quiet time? He says it's a time in which the teacher of God rests a while in reasonable peace. So, after you sort out what's valuable from what's valueless, and you let go of what's valueless, and you feel lighthearted, and you feel like a gift of love has been bestowed on you, you're going to have a quiet time. In this quiet time, you just rest in reasonable peace. When you let go of what causes you pain because it's no longer valuable to you, you rest. How do you rest? You rest in reasonable peace. So, let's look at some of the comments. Joanne says, when I stop valuing something, it leaves. I want you to hear that. When you stop valuing something, it leaves. If you're in a relationship and you're not constantly letting your partner know how much you appreciate them, sooner or later, it's a good chance that partner is going to be gone. Whatever you don't show gratitude for, whatever you don't truly appreciate, you don't really want, according to the Course. So things leave either because you've learned as much as you can from them right now, or they leave because you simply are an ungrateful little son of a gun and you're never doing anything but judging and complaining, and you're not really letting it, or if it's a person, for instance, let them know how much you really appreciate them. Changes are always helpful. It's very important to say what changes are always helpful. Every change in your life is helping you. Also, there's a period of undoing. So that means everything and everyone and every encounter and every circumstance is helping you. And nothing is any more valuable than it is helpful. If it's helpful, it's valuable. If you don't see it as helpful how? Helpful in the sense of helping you remember your innocence, helping you remember your guiltlessness, helping you remember that you are one with God, helping you remember that you are spirit, helping you remember that you're responsible for how you see things, that you are the one that's choosing the feelings you experience, that you are the one that's setting the goals in your life. Something is helpful if it's helping you remember that everything that seems to happen to you, at some level you're asking for it, even if you don't realize it, and you are receiving it as you have asked. So anything that's helpful is something that's helping you truly remember the truth. That's what the Course in Miracles means by helpful. It's moving you toward God. It's moving you toward peace. It's moving you toward freedom. It's moving you toward love. So the Course says, now comes a period of settling down. It's a quiet time in which you rest a while in reasonable peace. So what do you do during the period of settling down? He says, now you consolidate your learning. So what does it mean to consolidate your learning? What does it mean to consolidate your learning? The Course says, now you begin to see the transfer value of what you've learned. So when you consolidate your learning, you see how you can use your learning in every situation. If I don't see, I'm to the point after so many years of the Course, I don't care if I have a foot ache, a toothache, a financial problem, a relationship problem, a health problem. I don't care what kind of challenge I have. I say it's the same thing. It's a reflection of my sense of separation from love. It's a reflection of my sense of separation from God. See, I'm using my truth in every situation. I don't care what's going on in my life. I say, I'm the one that's giving that all the meaning it has to me. I don't care what's happening. If somebody pulls out in front of me in traffic, I go, I'm the one that's giving that all the meaning it has to me and for me. If I'm having an upset with a person, I go, I'm the one that's giving that all the meaning that it has for me. If I have a really happy situation happens to me, I go, I'm the one that's giving that all the meaning that it has for me. Notice I'm using the same perception in every situation. That's what the Course in Miracles means when it says you are going to transfer what you've learned and use what you've learned in every situation. It says it right here. You consolidate your learning. What does that mean? It means you now begin to see the transfer value of what you've learned. You see how you can apply what the Course is teaching you in every situation. Its potential is literally staggering. I'll say it again. When you see how you can apply the truth to every situation equally, and the potential of applying that to every situation equally and getting a healing, its potential is staggering. Now, when you're at the point that you see how you can use the truth in every situation, it says the teacher of God, that's you, is now at a point in his progress at which you can see your whole way out of fear. Okay. And it's this. Give up what you do not want. Give up what you do not want. If there's anything in your life that you don't want, give it up. Give it up. Let it go. Let go of everything you don't want. Let go. Give up. Let go. Let go of everything you don't want. Let go of everything you do not want. Let go of everything you do not want. Give up what you do not want. What you don't want, let it go. What you don't want, give it up. What you don't want, give it up. If there's an attitude that you don't want, let it go. If there's a person in your life that you really don't want, let them go. If there's a situation, let it go. Anything you don't want, let it go. And keep what you do. So keep everything that you do want. Let go of everything that you don't want. Keep everything that you do want. Let go of everything that you don't want. Keep everybody that you do want. Let go of everybody that you don't want. Keep everyone that you do want. Now, this is a very interesting statement because I've heard people say to me over the years, I'm not ready. I don't want to give up my boyfriend. Then it says, keep what you do want. I don't want to give up my marriage. Keep it then. I don't want to give up my job. Keep it then. I don't want to give up my money. Keep it then. What did it say? Give up what you do not want. Give up what you don't want. Keep what you do want. Keep what you do want. Give up what you don't want. So if I say to you, give up what you don't want, keep what you do, and then you go into conflict, you shouldn't go into conflict. If you think I'm telling you to give up something that you don't want to give up, keep it. If you're not ready to give it up, the book just said, keep it. Keep it. If you don't want to give it up, keep it. And the Course is especially talking about thoughts and perceptions. If you got perceptions in the way that you want to see things that you're not ready to give up yet, you got beliefs you don't want to give up yet, You got ways of looking at things that you don't want to give up yet, keep them. But if there are ways that you don't want anymore, if there are ways of looking at things, ways of expressing yourself that you are ready to let go of, give them up. How simple is the obvious? How easy to do? The teacher of God needs this period of respite. You haven't come as far as you think. You haven't come as far as you think. But when you're ready to go on, you're going to go with mighty companions beside you. Now you're going to rest a while. Now you're going to rest a while. And when you rest a while, you're going to gather in your mighty companions before going on. You will not go on from here alone. You won't go on from here alone. Listen to me. So let me go back over that really quick. You are in the period of unsettling. What is the period of unsettling? It's a period when you recognize that you really realize you don't really know what's valuable and you really don't know what's valueless. The only thing that's happened so far is that you learn that you don't want what's valueless, but you do want what's valuable. And you learn, and you also realize that you haven't been that successful at sorting out what is valuable from what's not valuable. It says the idea of sacrifice is so central to your way of thinking that it makes it impossible for you to judge because you think the truth is asking you to give up something, maybe that you're not ready to give up yet, but you were just told, keep what you do want, let go of what you don't want. And then you recognize that you thought you learned willingness, you thought you've been studying this stuff and you learned willingness, but the Course says now you realize you don't even know what your willingness is for. Oh God, I'm willing, but willing to do what? Like really, what am I really willing to do? So the Course says now you must attain a state that may remain impossible to reach for a long, long time. Now you got to try to reach for a state of mind that you might not reach for a long, long time. There's a state of mind that you have to go towards now that you might not reach for a long, long time. You must learn how to lay all judgment aside. It may be a long time before you learn how to lay all judgment aside. So at some point in your spiritual path, you're going to lay all judgment aside and you're going to only ask for what you really want in every circumstance. You're going to get to the point that in every circumstance, you're just going to keep asking for what you really want. You won't be judging everything and everybody. You're through judging. What you're going to do is you're going to just start asking for only what you really want. And I can tell you what you're going to ask for when you really wake up as a teacher of love. You're going to say, I only want love. I only want love. I only want love, which is the same as saying, I only want God. I only want God. I only want God. I only want the truth. I only want the truth. That's all the same thing. I only want the truth. I only want freedom. I only want freedom. I only want God. I only want peace. All of those things are the same thing. You're going to start asking for peace and joy and happiness in every situation. You're going to stop judging because now you know what you want. So you don't have to evaluate everything and try to figure out anything. I know what I want with all of you. I want peace with all of you. I want joy with all of you. I want oneness with all of you. I want to know my innocence with all of you. I want to wake up to who I really am. That's one thing. I want to know God. I want to know our connection. So when you are an awakening being, your focus is on peace. You know that nothing is more important than God and love. And so the Course says, the teacher of God must learn to lay all judgment aside and ask only what he really wants in every circumstance. Were not each step in this direction so heavily reinforced, it would be hard to do this. But as you achieve these goals, you're going to find each step is going to be very heavily reinforced. That's why I've been repeating over and over and over again, because I'm reinforcing every step that you take. So now we're at the last paragraph in the development of trust. He says, and finally, there's a period of achievement. Hallelujah. Finally, there's a period of achievement. Now, what happens during the period of achievement? What does the period of achievement look like? Well, it is here where, in a period of achievement, that learning is consolidated. So what does it mean to have your learning consolidated? That means now what was seen before as merely shadows, before becomes solid gains. That at first you were hoping you could practice the truth, and you were hoping that you could believe that you are the creator and you create your reality and that you're innocent and that you really only want peace. But the Course says when you have achieved your goal, you will know that you can count on this truth. You will know that you can count on what the Course is teaching. You will know that you can count on the Holy Spirit, that you can count on Jesus of the Course, that you can count on each other, that you can count on love. You can count on these principles that we are learning. He says that what was seen as merely shadows before becomes solid gains to be counted on in all emergencies as well as tranquil times. Indeed, the tranquility that you will be experiencing is the result of all the learning that you have achieved. He says tranquility will be the result of learning that all changes are helpful. It would be the result of learning the Course in Miracles. Indeed, tranquility is their result. So, what is tranquility and what is peace the result of? It's the result of the outcome of honest learning, consistency of thought, and full transfer. I'll say it again. You will have peace, you will have tranquility when you have consistent learning, because the Course says honesty is consistency. So when you consistently learn this, when you consistently think the truth that you're learning, when you apply the truth that you're learning to every situation, that's full transfer. He says this is the stage of real peace. For in you having real peace, here is heaven's state fully reflected. In heaven, you have complete tranquility. In reality, you have complete tranquility and real peace. He says, from having real peace and tranquility, from here, the way to heaven, which is reality, is open and easy. In fact, heaven, which is pure joy and love, is here. Who would go anywhere? Peace of mind is already complete. If you're already completely fulfilled and completely happy, you wouldn't go anywhere. If you were in a relationship that was completely fulfilling, a job, a situation, a circumstance that was completely fulfilling to you, you wouldn't go anywhere. And that is what the Course in Miracles is saying right now. Who would go anywhere if peace of mind is already complete? Who would seek to change tranquility for something more desirable? What's more desirable than total fulfillment? What's more desirable than complete peace, happiness, joy, freedom, and tranquility and abundance? It's all the same thing. For what could be more desirable than this? That was just one characteristic of the teacher of God, that what you're going to become, and that was the development of trust. I'm going to do a real quick recap. I want to thank you for watching my class with me and being a part of this group, this family, these mighty companions. I love that you are communicating with each other and that I'm communicating with you and I can see your communications. I am a full-time teacher. I really would appreciate it if you found value in what I'm sharing to make a financial expression of appreciation. If you'd like to do that, please go to earlpurdy.com. I would really appreciate that. Earl Purdy, Purdy.com. I appreciate you supporting this teaching ministry if it's valuable to you. Also, you can use Venmo and you can use my email, which is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. And I also appreciate if you're letting me know things that you appreciate about this class and my presentations. That's my email. I don't need to listen to a lot of criticisms or judgments. Who needs that? We all get that. That doesn't help us. What I want to hear is what it is you appreciate about what's coming through what I do so that I can even do more of that. That's what I'd like to hear. earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. And I also want you to know that I'm available for one-on-one personal sessions where we get deep down into your soul purpose and why you are here and how to apply this to every area of your life. I'm also an astrologer and a numerologist, and I also look at your astrological and numerological chart as well as helping you get clarity on everything that you're wondering about and how to apply the Course in Miracles. It's called a clarity session. Clarity session. If you go to my website, you will be able to see all the details about it, and you can self-book a clarity session right there on my website, earlpurdy.com. Sign up for my contact list on my website, because I'll be doing many workshops in the upcoming year and going deeper in my teachings with more personal private sessions, more advanced classes. I'm excited. I love you. I appreciate you. This Thursday night, Hardcore Course in Miracles is at 7 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. Earl Purdy page on Facebook. Please like that page. On Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, I do a Course in Miracles class on Facebook Live, as well as in front of a live audience. You're welcome to tune into that. I'm so glad to do what I do. I love what I'm doing. I love you. I'm glad you are here so much. So, I want to end this with one thought, and it's this: all changes are helpful. All changes are helpful. All changes are helpful. I love you too. I love all of you. I love the comments. Thank you. God bless you. All changes are helpful. Remember now, all changes are helpful. Yes, yes, all changes are helpful. All changes are helpful. Thank you now. All changes are helpful. Say it to yourself. All changes are helpful. Make it personal. All my changes are helpful. Say it. All my changes are helpful. Every situation is helpful. Say it. Every situation is helpful. Every relationship is helpful. Every relationship is helpful. Didn't say you were going to always enjoy it. Didn't say it was going to always be fun in the beginning. But every change in your life is helpful. If you don't want to change on the inside, then the divine plan may call for external changes on the outside to trigger that inner change that's going to bring you all the happiness and joy that you could possibly imagine. All changes are helpful. Okay, mighty companions, we had another very powerful, hardcore Course in Miracles. I love the communication that you were doing with each other and with me. I'm going to read over all the comments. Please share the video. Please share the video. Please share the video. Every situation, that's right, CJ. Every situation is helpful. You are helpful. You are totally helpful to me, and my goal is to be helpful to you. You are beautiful, you're innocent, and you are entitled to miracles. May the Course be with you. Mwah. See you next time.